Disclaimer. These videos show some tips to help you on a thru hike of the AT. The ideas presented are not the only way, merely one hiker's experience. Remember, hike your own hike.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to
Tips from the Trail.
Recently, I got a request to do a Tips from the Trail about water. So today, we are going to talk about water. Where do you get it? How much do you need? How to purify it? How much to carry? Where to carry it? How to carry it? And just all around how to stay hydrated on the Appalachian Trail. First off, let's talk about where not to get water. Good rule of thumb is if it's not moving, it's not a good place to get it. Ponds, lakes, swamps, marshy areas. If you're looking for water, try to make sure that it is a moving source of water. Ooh, look at this! Stream. As for your moving water sources, from big to small, water comes out of the mountain in a spring, turns into a creek or a stream, and then it gets bigger, becomes a brook, and then after you have your brook, you get into your river. So as the water source gets bigger, it has more chances for being exposed to animals and parasites and bacteria. So as they get bigger, they are less quality. You want to follow it all the way to the source, and that is your spring would be your best source for water. Now, the less common sources, ones that you typically don't hear people talking about, are the faucets and the otherwise running water from a well or the pumps. I mean, there's a lot of different water sources on the AT that before I started hiking, had no idea. A couple nights ago, we were at a campsite where there was a little bit of a park there, and there's a pump. You pump water out of a well. I mean, a lot more of that than you might think. So in thinking about your thru hike, there's something to know. And the best way to know where they are, and here comes the tip I always use, get a guidebook. I don't know if I've ever covered the guidebook I use or that we use. We use the AT Guide by AWOL. Great book. Now that we have talked about where to get it, let's cover how to get water. Basically, depending on the water container that you have, you're gonna try to fill it directly into the container. But like I said before, with the water moving, try to find the spot in the creek or stream or spring that is moving and moving quickly. Sometimes you could find areas along the sides that are a little stagnant or not moving as much, and they're gonna tend to hold on to bugs and stuff like that. You want the best flowing spot. Now with that said, it's not always easy to fill up your containers. There's a couple things that you can do. One, carry yourself the cutoff portion of a container to scoop the water out. That way you don't really need a fall in water to fill up your bottle. Two, be a little creative. Sometimes I use a leaf, and I put a leaf into the water, and with rocks I can get the leaf to create a little spout of water that I can use to fill up my containers. Another tip would be to, when filling from a deeper water source where you're basically just kind of skimming water from the top, I was told by another hiker that debris tends to be stirring in the bottom and also floating on the top. So if you take your bottle and take part of your thumb and hold it over the opening to the bottle and then submerge it just under the surface, your thumb will block the floaties and that you're not far enough down to get the debris off the bottom. And he says that's the water you want, the stuff right in the middle. Also, another way of keeping the debris out as you're filling it up is to have a small piece of fabric that you can hold over the end of your bottle, so that as you dip your bottle or as you're filling your bottle, that'll keep the debris out. Or fill up your scooper, and as you pour it into your bottle, hold your t-shirt over it, and your t-shirt will help get the debris out. Now, obviously you're still gonna want to, treat the water when you're done, but this will at least keep the trail spice out of your water. Now it's time to talk about treating your water. Now, I know there's gonna be people that don't agree with me, but I believe that there's no reason to not treat all of the water that you get unless you know for sure that it's from a restaurant or from a spigot that you know comes from a well that's potable, and that you're pouring it into your clean bottle. Otherwise, no reason not to treat it. I've met a lot of people that have said, well, I know where to get the water that's good. And they'll get it from a pipe spring, and for the most part, you'll probably be all right. But if you've ever researched Giardia, it's not worth the risk. Go ahead and get yourself a filter or a way of treating it. Your most basic option for purifying your water is to boil it. And I know it sounds like it's a decent option because you don't have to carry anything, because you're already carrying a stove to cook or whatever. But boiling takes extra fuel, and that's an extra thing to carry. And then it also heats up your water. And on a day like today, where it's 80 degrees and humid, the last thing I want is to drink a bunch of hot water. All right, number one option is a filter. Sawyer's make good filters. See, if you ask me, I wouldn't think that the Sawyer Mini's even really worth the weight. Go ahead and get the regular size Sawyer. The flow rate's better. It doesn't get clogged as easy. And all in all, it's just a little bit better. One downside to the Sawyer filters, and it was unknown to us at first, is that they cannot freeze. If a Sawyer filter freezes, it may break it. There's no way to know for sure. So basically, once it freezes, it's no good, because there's no way to test to see if it still works properly. They say right on the website that if your Sawyer is frozen, to discard it and to get a new one. Because we use a Sawyer, I know a little bit more about that product. And one of the things I would suggest in using it is to not only keep it warm, but also to regularly back flush it. Now, it comes with a little syringe to back flush the filter, because obviously if it's removing debris, that debris stays in the filter unless you force it out.
To backwash your Sawyer, start by removing the rubber gasket. Then, using the syringe, force water backwards through the Sawyer. In between flushes, I find that if I shake the leftover water out of the Sawyer, I get more debris out.
Groundbreaking news from the trail.
We just found out that a Sawyer can be back flushed using the little nipple top that comes with your smart bottles. So you don't actually have to use the syringe or carry the syringe with you. You can use the top of your smart bottle. Dirty smart bottle, clean smart bottle, filter one, back flush with the other. When looking into your filter, just make sure that you're buying a proper filter. One that can remove the parasites and the bacteria. None of them will really remove viruses, but they say that in America, we don't really have a problem with viruses, and on the trail, it's not something you have to worry about. Another option is the Aquamira drops. And basically, that's not gonna filter out the baddies, it's gonna kill them. The way it works is it's a 2-part formula. You'll get 2 bottles, a couple drops of A, a couple drops of B, put them together, allow them to activate, and then dump them in your water, and then give them time to kill everything. Only problem with that, you're not filtering out the debris and stuff, which won't hurt you, and it takes time. A filter, the Sawyers, you can drink right directly out of your bottle. They also have some pills that you can just bloop, bloop, drop them right in your water. But like the Aquamira, it takes time. Maybe, I can't remember for sure, half hour, and then everything's dead. But like the Aquamira, you haven't filtered out all of the trail space, and it takes time. And lastly, I've never seen them before until I got on this trail, but I call them the magic wands. They are a ultraviolet light that it's a little pen, and you stick it inside of your water bottle and you magically wave it around and it kills all the nasties. Doesn't take very long. It's supposed to flash certain colors. Once it flashes the right colors and everything's dead, abracadabra, and you have your water.
There it is. All the little bugs are killed, and I'm gonna eat their bodies.
A couple things that some guys have told us about on this trip is in colder temperatures, they tend to not be as reliable because of the batteries. Some suggestions when considering is that you carry it in a warm spot close to your body so that it doesn't get too cold, so that it functions properly. And another downside is it's more batteries. You have to carry batteries, extra batteries, so it doesn't go dead. It's just another thing to consider that with a filter, you don't have to worry about. Now that we have found our water, obtained the water, and purified it, it is time to take it with us. Now, there's 101 different ways to do this, and I don't know which one's better. It all depends on what works for you, but I'll tell you how we do it. Between the two of us, we both carry a smart water bottle, which is dirty, and that's the water bottle that we use to get the water from the source. We also both carry a, get off me bug, we also both carry a like a Powerade or a Gatorade bottle that is our clean bottle. We'll filter into that, we'll drink from that, and also we can mix up like an electrolyte powder or something like that. We have a third way of carrying water, and that is a 2-liter platypus. Now that is for at nighttime when we need extra water to cook or things like that. We also have a bladder in our pack. I have a 2-liter and Sharon has a 3-liter, and then we have a hose so that we actually can be drinking as we're hiking. Now also, to make that system even better, we have a quick connect that we can use so that the bladder doesn't have to be pulled in and out of our pack. We can fill our dirty bottle up, put on the Sawyer filter, and then filter directly into our bladders and use the system that way. How much water? Well, it all depends. I would say on average we're between 2 to 4, maybe 5 liters a day. That includes the water that you're using to cook in your food. You know, as you start your hike on the Appalachian Trail, you are going to learn a lot about yourself. And the one thing you'll learn is how much water you need per mile. And that's a good way to base how much that you carry at a time. Using your guidebook and knowing where the next water source is, you can calculate, okay, this is how much water I need to carry to get there, because on average I drink X amount of water per mile. I would say for us, we can get close to 5 miles out of a liter of water on a normal day. And that seems to keep us well hydrated and feeling good. Some people like to hike without water from water source to water source, and then when they get to a water source, drink a lot and then hike again without. And if you have a good guidebook and you know where the water sources are, I mean, that is one way that you can do it, and it keeps down pack weight and not carrying the water. But we like to have at least a liter on us at a time just to be safe, and then on hotter days you're drinking more. A good rule of thumb to have is drink before you're thirsty. If you've got a chance to drink and you're like, I'm not really thirsty, drink anyways. Because a lot of the times when you start to feel thirsty, it's already too late and you're becoming dehydrated. Another thing to consider when you're thinking about hydration and staying hydrated is that when you sweat, you're losing a lot of electrolytes. And I've seen a lot of it out here. We didn't really plan for it when we started our hike. Like I said, you can't plan for everything. You're gonna learn a lot out here. And one of the things it's like a electrolyte powder. Gatorade powder is the one that we've been using. You can get single servings. You can even get chews and stuff like that. But I tell you, the thirst quenching of having it in a drink, and to change it up, because you'll get tired of just drinking water all the time, and it's kind of nice to have something fruity or something else to drink. There's also these tablets that you can buy. I'm not quite sure what they're called. NU tablets, and I think there's a whole variety of different products out there that you can use to replace your electrolytes. And obviously, the more you sweat, the more you have to put back. And you will also find out that being well hydrated makes everything better. We met a fellow thru hiker that would basically say any problem that you have is because you're dehydrated. It wouldn't matter. I mean, you're tired, you could be dehydrated, or you've got cramping in your calves, you're dehydrated, or this thru hiker doesn't like you, you're dehydrated. He would blame everything on hydration, which was a little silly. I've also been told that I'm an idiot, but I have also been told that anytime you eat, you should always drink with it, and it'll help in the digestion, and that your body needs water when it's digesting. So if you're eating a lot and not drinking, it could actually dehydrate you. Another way to fight the dehydration is trying your best to keep your body cool. Now, this is a whole nother topic, but just a couple quick things. Try not to wear too much clothing so that you're not sweating. We actually have these little buffs on our head. We dip them in cold water. It really tends to cool you down a little bit. But anything you can do to keep yourself from sweating is going to keep yourself from losing water all day long. The more I sweat, the more I drink. Well, there you have it. There, ladies and gentlemen. That's how we've been keeping hydrated on the Appalachian Trail. I hope this video has been helpful, and stay tuned for more tips from the trail, because if it's working for me, it may work for you. Bye-bye.
Exactly.
To you until we meet.
Oh, he was gonna pull away though.
Happy trails to you. Smiling until then.
Here, we can walk
I am
around.
happy trails to you.
Here's a famous expression. Felice and Daryl. Happy trail. Felice and Daryl.
All right, stay safe. Keep your twin blazes.